Good morning, and welcome to this morning's Wuxing Long Pai Taijiquan class. Before we get started, I'm going to actually go make an adjustment so that there'll be less noise, background noise. I'm hearing a little bit, and it could get louder. I'll be right back. All right, yeah, just closing off a door just to cut down on the ambient noise. It looks like there might not be a ton of light because it's overcast today. How's that? We'll see how that is. That looks pretty good, right? Everybody can see pretty well, I hope. All right, let's get started with our usual bouncing expansion, but I want to start just, like we've been doing, taking our time to settle into a stance first. Feel where you are on the ground. Feel your feet. Feel the triangle of the feet. Spread out your feet, your toes. Let them kind of grip the ground a little bit naturally. Relax the low back down. Get the basics of your posture set. Left-right relationship, where you want to be in your feet, how much rotational force we're using around the hips. Drop the tailbone, get the pelvis underneath the upper body. Align the center line, get the 3 dantians in alignment. Become receptive from below. Let that receptivity create, along with the jing draw, that gentle upward lift that strengthens the center line. And the release down and around, that's natural with the meridians. The yang channels descend around the body, right? They kind of wrap around the outside. If I'm standing like this particularly, wrap all the way around. Right, so I'm letting that descent on the outside and ascent on the inside naturally happen. I'm not sitting too far into the heels, nor am I too far in the ball of the feet to tense the shins. And sometimes just taking a minute or two to begin from this position, even though, we've done stance training in places, and there's certainly a place for it. I usually like to start with a warm-up of movement first, but taking a few moments of just aligning in that movement for the movement first can be helpful. So I'm also going to pay attention now to these ball and socket joints here, the ball and socket joints of the hips, and I'm going to try to let them fold and feel them fold while I maintain my weight going in the same part of the foot. So I play around with these articulations and all the adjustments and releases required to have a clean and upright bounce. I go slow, and I'm just feeling that, feeling what that feels like to have it be just right. Getting that mechanic and familiarity with the mechanic. Play back and forth a little bit again too, just to see the hip tilt. Make sure you're not holding. Same with the shoulders. And then we begin with an inhaling expansion. And then we're going to reverse. Take a deep breath in. Exhale and expand like you're releasing through your body from your center out as you move. Receiving in. And then bouncing. And counter swing. Column swing. And counter column swing. We do Ling Kong Jing down here. In reverse. up to chest level and back in. And the other way. And sink. And just for a brief period, just do dragon rolling pearl exercise. So we're going to shift. Feel this opening. Release this hip as you shift over. Use your hands to help you. Like I use my hand to imagine just expanding through that leg, opening here, releasing down through the foot. Meanwhile, this side, this sense of receiving and filling. And move into the dragon rolls of pearl position. And then as I shift, I use this hand movement to help my awareness move down and drain through this expanding leg. Meanwhile, this hand moves in, receiving in, just like this leg does. If I notice a place of tension that causes me to deflect, I pause and let myself relax. Let the chi help me move into position. And close. That kind of practice can be very, very valuable, particularly after doing something like Wing Kong Jing, where you've been focusing on these subtle nuances of change that you create to create a push outwards. You remember, we're trying to imagine always as though there's a subtle resistance, and we want to feel how the body activates in response to that as we move. Right? This teaches us about the subtle mechanisms that are happening under the radar as we activate tissues and deactivate other tissues. And we're trying to feel the flow of that activation and deactivation and maximize it, its effectiveness in its connection to rootedness, to the ground, and using that as a base of support for action, right? This is a key component, because then we're utilizing the yin energies, the yin quality of the solidity of the earth as the basis of our physical power instead of the yang activities. Then the yang activities begin to become about changing the shape of that yin through application of energy and movement. And as it does so, the yin becomes this valley in which the yang moves, right? Or it becomes the yang becomes a river flow. Right? All right. Hands, wrists, and fingers. Right. Elbows. The other way. And shoulders. trunk twists from the center. Waist. And the hips. Waist rotations, getting that bowl of the pelvis to move horizontally and parallel to the ground. Other way. And widen the legs, down to the hips. Pull that up, just gentle pressure down, pull it open, rotate back and forth a few times to the ball and socket joint. Keeping that knee open, don't let it collapse. Keep that knee open. And then around. You can see I'm really just circling this hip and then the other way. And the other side. Draw it open. Back and forth on the inner corner. And then around. And then the other way. And then we're going to go back and forth. Just keeping them open, shifting and turning the right and left channels. You can widen that if you like to really start stretching out those inguinal muscles. And then the other way. And shift them up. Ankle and hip rotation. Oh, we usually like to do padding first. Sorry, I forgot. Padding first. Friction rubbing the knee. And patting the other leg. Friction rubbing the knee. Small circles, feet stay flat on the ground. Either way. Deep bends, heels stay down. Shake out your legs. And ankle and hip. Either way. Foot and ankle. brushing the grass. Other way. Behind, heels stay down, so it stays parallel to the ground. Other way. Leg up. Out to the side. And back. I'm going to kick that screen. Cross behind. Sit down into lady horse stance. And turn the spine. Back up. Leg up. Knee down, leg back. Heel back, I should say. Hip forward, knee back. Out. And around. Open up the hip. I'm trying to figure out why I'm feeling the muscles in my back. Yesterday I moved a giant stone in my garden. I totally forgot that I did it. I was like, why is my back sore? I was like, I didn't think I had done much yesterday. I forgot I did that. I mean, it didn't seem like much at the time, but obviously my body went, hey, that was a lot of weight. You're going to feel sore tomorrow. Darn you, 53. The other way. Brushing the brows. Other way. Behind. Always imagine that resistance. It shows you all the ways in which you overreact, lean, rather than use support. Doesn't matter how long you do this. You keep, at least, doesn't matter how long I do this. I keep finding more refinement that I can make. Where was I? Oh, back up and through. And behind. Cross behind. Rotate the spine. Extend the tailbone down, spine up. Knee to the chest. Heel back, knee down. Extend the knee back, hip forward. Here comes that rain. That much needed. Love that. There's a feeling in the air as it begins to rain, a release of chi. And you can feel it just, it's awesome. Pressure, energy, the tension between yin and yang release. And then shake it out. Elongate the hamstrings, lift the sacrum, flatten the back, and fold the waist.
I'm just making space between all the vertebrae, all the joints, elongating all the tissues of the body. Extending on inhales and making space on inhale, and releasing and exhaling on the exhale. Releasing the tension that builds up. Turn towards one side. And rotate open. Now, one of the things I like to do when I'm here is also rotate this side up and reach. And then the other side. We start with just focusing on alignment with everything nice and straight. Feeling the triangle of the foot where I can release and make space. I reach. And try to roll that open a little. And then we're going to drag it circle the pond. Reach out. Back to the center. Bend your knees. Squat stance. Spine nice and long. Tailbone down, hips open. Arms down, legs open, just Lean that weight in, open those inguinal muscles, back and forth. Just let yourself sit in
And then roll the spine up. And dragon spine. All right. We've been working with that swimming dragon section. We are near the end, at least getting much closer. We worked on that passing clouds and hammer fist and dragon clears the sky or sweeps the sky is coming up. That's what we're going to be working towards today and trying to get onto, and maybe a little bit past that, because past that is a repeated section, and then, or kind of a repeated section. And then we're on to sort of the closing part. So we'll see how far we get. I want to review what we've covered, and we'll go from there as to see, where we're at. And I'll see as I go through it if there's any points I feel like I didn't either make clear or I want to, or stand out to me today to mention that I might not have mentioned as we go through this the sequence up to where we're working on. And then we'll do some repetitions of that 2, 3, 4 move sequence, and then plug it back in, and then kind of go on, just kind of rebuilding, breaking it down from the big section. We learned individual pieces, put it all together. Now we're breaking it into little sections. Then we'll take it apart again, put it back all together, just so that we can understand all the individual movements and their transitions to each other in like pairs, but also groups, because there's a general flow as well, and then the whole. Okay, all right. Tongue lightly touches the roof of the mouth. We've got our central equilibrium. I'm going to face the other way for the first time through, and then I'll face you through another time through so you can see the hands. And we've got dragon stretches his wings. So we've got that sink and pull down. And it's just, I mean, it's not like I'm pulling. It's that letting gravity pull down. Center line and expand. Pull down again. And under. Dragon lashes his tail. Power of the immortal. And white presents the fruit. White cream kicks with one leg. Butterfly touches the water. Green dragon stirs the waves. Split and grasp the arm. Turn back and look at the moon. Butterfly touches, or I'm sorry, Fair Lady threads the shuttle. Passing clouds. And hammerfist. And that is where we had stopped. Okay, now at the beginning here, when you're first doing these, it's really important that you get these structural components, like you really get the right and left channels, the center line, and the alignment. This is secondary. Primary is this, without being able to relax into this structure. For example, here, just without this ability to relax into this structure, the chi is not going to flow here anyways. If you're all bound up, you're just going to tighten things up in here. And you might look, this might, without any comparison, this might look pretty good. It's like, well, that looks pretty good. But compare it to when I open this up, drop the tailbone, sink down in. You see how the center directs that much more? Here, all it takes is that little boom, curl of the hip, kick out, any of it, right? And all of a sudden, I'm using from here up. I'm still kind of coming off of my center, so it can fool us into thinking we're coming from our center. But if there's any place that it cuts off from the center to the other, and it feels like they're separate things, then you've created an artificial separation by structure. I drop that hip under. Now, it is undeniable that it comes from lower in the body. Right? And the ability to make this transition into that and structure your energy and intent in such a way as to create the structure that supports that action is as much a part of it as the action itself. Okay. There's always yin and yang. We have to get yin first. The yang is the activity, and it's easy to see the action. What's not easy to see is the structure that best supports that action. And we have to analyze that constantly under the basic premises of what we're looking for in structural alignment. The central equilibrium. Everything is upright and relaxed. The right and left channels are connected and interactive with each other and the center line. Right? The lower dantian, middle dantian, and upper dantian are connected and aligned. Now, they don't have to be, there are times you will actually move. Your body has to have some fluidity, right? So it's not going to be rigid. We don't want it to be rigid, but we need that intention to be present and the fluidity to be present. And that's with everything. The whole body should feel that way. But if we don't have it in our spine and the connection of the spine into the legs and the ground, then we're not going to have it everywhere. We might have it in one place or another place, but we'll never have it as a whole because the center is off. The center doesn't have it, right? And that transmits outward as we send signals from our center outward. All right, let's take it from Fair Lady Threads the Shuttle. Okay. So we did that white crane kicks with one leg, butterfly touches the water, stirs the waves, and elbowing left and right. How did I end up facing you? I keep doing this because I'm going the other way and I keep wanting to turn back over here. I did this last time too. Let me look at this. Problem is I'm going to the right first. Here, this is okay. White egg presents the fruit. I kicked with the wrong leg, that's why. Then left. All right. My apologies. I kicked with the wrong leg because I was thinking about communicating to you, so I was turning my direction around. It is as confusing for me, this whole reversal of everything and trying to reverse, and I'm talking over here, but I'm performing to here. All right. Let's go through that one more time. Nice sequential thing, and I'll talk about these structures as I go. So we're here, right? Dragon stretches his wings. Sink right down those right and left channels and sink the weight into the right. Turn the left and down. Under, back up the center line and expand. Back in and back down. All right. Under, around, over the top, back down the center line, left, and white presents the fruit. Back, up, switch the legs, and kick. Butterfly touches the water. Sorry. This way first, then this way. Again, I turned, trying to think about turning towards you at the end. Green dragon stirs the waves. Right, left. Gravity threads the shot. All right, get that sink. All right. I'm going to face you because this is throwing me off. Something's not right. Because I'm too focused here on the camera. and trying to form to the other side, and it's just throwing me off. And my apologies for that. But if I want to have an accurate flow, I got to face this way if I'm communicating to this. Right? It's just somehow there's a switch my brain is not making, and I don't know why. But that's okay. We can all be mentally overwhelmed at times. And it's not like we have anything going on that may be just taking a lot of brain power on us. Anyways. All right. I'm going to face you. We're going to go through the sequence the way I would do it in the class. Me facing this way. I'm imagining you're all back there. Because I'm going to communicate to this. Notice the alignment. And I turn. White ape presents the fruit. Down. That's what I was forgetting on the other side. White ape presents fruit to the opposite side. Go back. Cross the hands. Switch the feet. Kick with the right leg. Turn that foot. Sit in. Notice I'm not here. I'm here. I'm letting this from the front. You can see it. See, I'm letting this fold, and I'm sitting in here. I can move. I'm not locked. I can move and shift in here using my center in all sorts of ways. So I'm not locked up. In fact, once I'm here, pull by and turn and look back at the moon. So when I turn and look back at the moon, I pull by, drop down and under. And I'm trying to stretch this hip, knee down, and stretch this a little bit. I don't know if you can see my foot. This back foot. Notice this is not collapsed. Spiral out. That spiral out is the delivery mechanism for the chi. Right? 1, 2, still open. Up. Step back. Then once it's right and left channels are rolling open. Closing up. Turning. There you go. Think of it as a shake and expansion. So your hands are open. Okay. All right. Let's look at that again. From turn and look back at the moon. sitting into this leg very thoroughly and dropping this leg under. So my tailbone can drop under. Switch. You don't have to be that low, by the way. Let's do this up here where most people will be. Same thing. See, I'm kind of like, see how it goes diagonally upward and spirals. Spiral open, spiral open. Continue that motion from below and up. Back down and around. Boom, right and left channels. And fold in. One, two. Let's take it from the end of Fair Lady Threads the Shuttle. Sit down through this yang channel here and expand. Go from that press, that diagonal press upward, to expanding the sphere. So now it's round again. Round. And up. Down. It goes. Boom. Roots. Up. See? It roots and provides support behind that. This right side will come up, come down, and root. It's going to spiral into root this way, rotating out. You see how I open it up? I don't just place it down, heel down, and root in. And then it catches. Then this whole backside can support and catch to keep the center inside the triangle. So I've gone boom and created my hidden support from behind so that as I move back, I can't be pushed into falling back, or I can't lose my balance because I'm going too far back. I'm always aware of where the energy of this back corner of my body is and making sure that it's got that intention of no further, only in the root. If I go that way here too much, I'll lose it. Okay. Close and open. Split open. Think of this as split open. It's the same thing as this in the first part of the long form. It's just to the side. And we get that turn and look back at the moon again. This is the repeat. But instead of coming around and bringing the arm up and over, everything else is the same. Lower body setup is the same. Under. Now split. Two dragons passing. This energy is going to go down and expand. This energy is going to come up and expand. Until it opens into a sphere again. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try from this side. See? Rotating open. This one's coming from here. This one's coming from here. This one's going to rotate this way. This one's going to rotate this way. And that white egg presents the fruit to the other side. And that's where the other side begins, which we will cover next time. We went about 10 minutes over because I was having trouble communicating in one direction, focusing in the other, and I apologize for that. All I can say is I'm not perfect, and certainly not at this, and not anything else from my observation either. But this is the thing I probably spend the most time doing too. So just always pay attention to your weight going down. Feel where it goes into the ball and socket joints of the hips. Set up the structure of support and let things happen. Let things move. Just focus on support and let your body be free to express a movement. You know, so I set up a structure of support, and I'm trying to feel how this whole side is coiling. This whole side is coiling, and how the two sides are coiling together. Always with this idea that there's some resistance, so that if I encounter resistance, I don't have to immediately feel like I have to fight with it. I can have that sense of responsiveness that I can compress and let the buildup of the chi condense through me and root, so that as it builds up, I don't fight it. Instead, I get this feeling of absorbing it, right? Just like the water I'm getting familiar with the feeling of the way like water would absorb my movements. And I actually respond to it too. Like if I were to stop and the water were going, pull my arm a little bit. Same thing here. And I try to let that happen. And that's what a lot of these things are about, like this counter swing series. When I do it slow like this, you can see it. You can see that responsiveness. You can almost see the visceral energy that surrounds the action, because I'm not moving fast and yet my hands are blurring. Why is that? What's happening there? It's curious, isn't it? Because I can move my hands slow like this, where I'm not doing that with the chi. I'm just moving it slow, and I'm not imagining that resistance. And there's a little bit there because my chi responds now, but not like it was. Not like when I was going. Right? What happens? What's going on? Something to investigate. If you can get the feeling sense, you'll see that, like, if you video yourself, you'll see the response looks like what it feels like, which is curious. Anyways, thank you guys. Shasha, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Many blessings of radiant health and a peaceful, happy heart. And if any of you guys would like to leave a donation to help me continue my work, that's always appreciated. You can do that on my coffee page. That's ko-fi.com/Occidental Taoist. Or, go to my Patreon page, become a member, get some access to exclusive content, or just share my YouTube videos or my lunchtime lessons and live streams on Facebook. And that helps me to reach more people. And that's also super helpful. Thank you guys very much, and you have a wonderful day.